Jay Lockhart here in LA at the Bandai's Nationals. I'm here from the One Piece event, but I'm also here with a special guest. The tournament's ending up right now, but I'm with Deep Patel. Congratulations on your placings. What placings did you get?
I got top 32. I don't know the exact placement because like the tournament's still going on, so depending on how everything ends, but top 32.
Nice. And what are you playing today?
I played Sakazuki. Funny thing, Lockhart and me are like, and then a couple other of my friends are like sharing a room or Airbnb, and like we're like testing decks, and I was in between Sakazuki and Katakuri, and honestly, like the reason why I picked Sakazuki over every other deck this event is because it's the most consistent one. You get to see your cards the most often, like cycling a card every turn, kind of scoping your hand. It's really good because it turns your deck into a toolbox, trying to out the board every single time. And yeah, it just rewards good players, honestly.
All right, let's get into the deck profile.
Yeah, sure. So obviously Sokka. Brand new. This is staple. I feel like you have to play 4. Played 2 Hina. I think going first, your opening is not that good. And like you're always behind on tempo. But if you open Hina or something like that, it's not only good going first, it's also good going second. Like you can have this going second and then pitch a card to counter out the your enemy's like first attack, and then you could still get this off, which is pretty good. So it's not the worst. It's a counter, which this deck desperately needs. So yeah, 6 starters. I played 4 Luchis. This is a staple. 3 Borsa. I wanted to play 4 because it's such a good card. However, like when you draw multiples and like in certain matchups, it's just not the best card. So I just chose to play 3. And if you had no other top end, like if I wasn't playing other top end, then I would definitely play 4. But because I played 2 Kaidos also, it's like hard for me to justify 4 Borsas. A lot of people don't know how to play this card. I feel like if you set up this card right, what ends up happening in the Sakazuki mirror matches is like you keep going Rebecca Lucci, like maybe Greater Eruption Rebecca Lucci to try and get rid of the opponent's board. But if you get a turn where like you're on 10 Dawn, they've left your Rebecca up, but they cleared your Lucci and Hina, right? So then you could try to swing into the Hina, and if they ever let the Hina die, or you leader swing into Hina, target the Hina so it turns into a 2. And most of the time, like with the mind game, they'll let it die. And later on in the resources pool, like they'll let it die. So you could just drop a Kaido there with like a Rebecca blocker and like 1 or 2 life, and you could probably survive and win the game. It's such a big tempo swing. So yeah, definitely Kaido. And it's really good against yellow. So all the other matchups, other than Sakazuki that you're gonna face, like Enel and Katakuri, it's really good into. Last but not least, I also consider this like a big drop. You usually don't drop it ever early. It's honestly, it's a 10 down play. It's a really good card because it gives you another kind of like a blocker that the enemy needs to attack into. Funny thing, in my top 32 match, I swung with this for a game. Yeah, I swung 7 with this. He countered out, and then I swung 8 with leader. We were into time, and then yeah, I had more cards in deck. It was a crazy match. Shout out to that opponent. That's like the main like beaters. Blockers are really important in this deck. One of my favorite blockers in this deck is Sabo. It's a 1k counter, which obviously this deck needs. More counters are better. But on top of that, like it protects your whole board. Really good into Purple Luffy, really good into mirror match. So it has a good coverage. And yeah, it gets to cycle through cards, which is really good. It's also really good if you don't have the 7-drop Borso. It fills that gap of the 7 Dawn turn. You can play it, and you can like swing 7 and protect your board at the same time. So when they get to 8 Dawn, they can't like Lucci, Rebecca you. Pretty good card. 3 Borsas. So like I made this deck thinking like it'll be really good into a lot of matchups. I did take out a bunch of my 4 drops. You could tell I'm not playing Kuzan. I don't think Kuzan's that good. It's a non-counter. I typically cycle it through my hand anyways, and I chose to play 2 Kaidos, and I like didn't want to have space for Kuzan. So you could see that my 4 Dawn turn is really kind of weak in some aspects. And that's why I wanted to at least play 3 Borsas. By 4 Dawn turn being weak, I also wanted to make sure that I play enough starters. So if I get to the 4 Dawn and I don't have a 4 drop, I could swing 5. Most of the time, the second time you're swinging, they'll take the 5, and then you could put the 4 under either one of these and swing again. And then you get 2 life out of them, which is really good. Or you get a Borso blocker. Yeah, that was like my 4-down kind of play if I didn't see Borsa. If I were to go back, I'd definitely play 4 of this card. 4 Rebecca, card's broken. I also play more blockers. I play 2 Bartholomew. I know.
It's also a 2K counter too.
Yeah, so like this deck has a problem of not seeing enough counters, so I wanted to make sure my deck had the most amount of counters you could fit in Sakazuki without like ruining the power of the deck. So I played 2 Bartholomew. It's a 2K counter. You can recycle it with Rebecca. You can get it back. And it fills out your 10-down turn. If you don't have Kaido, you can go Borsa Bartholomew, which is pretty good. I also play 4 Hina. This is mandatory. A good way of winning a lot of the times is like you Hound glazing instead of like a Lucci or a Rebecca. They're Hina back into the bottom of the deck, because if they don't have Hina, a lot of the times they can't minus off a Rebecca efficiently enough, and they have to keep dropping 2Ks from their hand, which hurts them a lot in the counter power. And their 2Ks that you drop, like Tashigi and Surus, are much weaker in general, like in attack, so you can get rid of them also. Talking about 2Ks, I do play 10 2Ks, so I'm a big fan of playing 10 to 12 2Ks no matter what deck I play. The worst way to lose a game is through counters, because your deck just variants do. I want to make sure my deck is consistent when it comes to countering, so yeah.
How do you find the 2 extra 2Ks help you out in this tournament?
I've never lost a counter battle. Like it's not like I've lost the battle where like I lost out of resources, or like the game state wasn't in my favor or things like that. But I've never lost a battle where it's like, oh, like I seen like 10 cards in my deck and only 3 of them are counters. Like I've never lost like that, which is a good thing, I would say, especially considering you have so many non-counters.
And I guess also with Barto being a 3-drop as well, right?
Yeah.
3-drop blocker, so you can also get that back from Rebecca and Mancher.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more 2Ks to grab that.
Yeah. I think it was a good list. If you can find space, you could try to take out something for a 4th Borsa. I think the list is pretty stable other than that.
Nice.
And then last but not least, the 10 cards. Played 4 Hound Glaze, nothing special. 4 Great Eruption, nothing special. I played 2 Ice Age. I was really back and forth between 2 cards, playing 1 or 2. You can always pitch it and cycle it, but I just really like the trigger aspect of it as well. Sometimes they're swinging for game, and like you want to be, as a black deck or a blue deck, you want to have some cards that have triggers, and these guys all have good triggers. So yeah.
I know you have a matchup coming up soon. You usually play on this, some side events, but speaking of matchups, what were your matchups like through the main tournament?
Yeah, so I played. I got the first 2-round bye because I won a regional. I had 8 rounds that I played. It was 4 Sakazukis. I lost 1 Sakazuki match, and it was because I draw too many 2K counters. And it's not like I wasn't trying to get rid of them from my hand. I was, but it's just I kept drawing more. So 4 Sakazukis, lost to 1. This is in Swiss. I played 1 red-green Law, played 1 red-purple Law. I played 1 purple Luffy and 1 Katakuri. I wanted to play more Enel because Enel's actually a good matchup, regardless of what other people say. The way the deck is built, with like Kaido and stuff, Enel's not that bad of a matchup. But I didn't face any Enel. And then my top 64 was a Sakazuki mirror match, and then top 32 I faced Whitebeard.
How was that matchup though?
The matchup is pretty bad if they draw a couple of aces. Yeah, like it was rough because like I didn't have enough practice into Whitebeard, don't see it much often. But on top of that, it's just like it's a hard matchup because they can have ace and they get so much value of your swung bodies. Now you cannot swing and you don't have to swing, but then it's hard to get rid of cards from their hand as well. So it's like kind of like a seesaw battle.
Sure.
I want to give shoutouts to Card Ape.
That's his man right here.
Yep, Card Ape. I want to give shout out to all the boys from Toronto.
I think he's also just down the spot there, just finishing up a 3v3.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to all the boys from Toronto, like Dakota, Will, Chad, Peter, Anthony, Harry, Aiden, Arthur, like everybody from Toronto, Beckford from home, Sam, Aiden, Jin. There's too many people to go around. Like everyone's supporting me through being at home and not being here. Some of them, so it's like I appreciate you guys. I tried to get to top 16. It was a pretty rough match for me. I got 2-0'd. But yeah, try to come back next year. Try to get it a world invite possibly. But yeah.
Yeah, you had a great run. I was obviously kind of up there with you, close to the tables. So congratulations. Definitely see you in the next tournaments, topping more tournaments there.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Take